Well, the fact we're not playing each other, we're all going to be on the same side of the net will be different. And then, I think we'll look at some potential lineups and be able to make changes within those lineups that we would potentially make the following weekend. So I think you just learn a lot more. It's like an exhibition against another team that a lot of programs do this time of year. So this is our version of that. It just happens to be against alumni, which makes it more fun for the fans.
I know you talked about it a little bit, but where did this idea come from?
Just with pro getting so big in the U.S. and knowing more players are around and more programs are doing it. We were talking about doing one at Louisville. Then I got here. I'm like, we should definitely be able to do one here with how many players are playing. And we just decided if we could get 7 or 8 alumni that would be willing to play, that we would roll with it. So we got the first 7, and luckily we're able to add a few more. So the alumni aren't having to play the whole game. But we also want to make a really fun event, and Nebraska's got such great tradition to celebrate some of that during this time.
It's your team versus Vita. Who's going to win?
Who knows? I'll be curious. You'd like to think we are going to be quite a bit more organized, so we have an edge, but you can't count out Olympians. And even though some of these players, they might not have played in the last month, they just got off playing pro seasons and were playing at a really high level. So I'm expecting them to be pretty good on the other side.
Is it going to be a normal match setup?
Yeah. Yep.
People agreed to that, of playing possibly 5 sets. They're ready for that mentally, physically.
The alum? I know there's some that are hoping it stays at 3, but I'm secretly hoping for a 4-setter. We won't be playing extra if it's a sweep one way or the other.
After watching the tape from Saturday, in the press conference you mentioned serving, passing. Still think that, or is there other stuff you've looked at that we need to work on?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things, and it's hard to really say what we really need to work on versus what was nerves and a little out of character. I thought just the last couple of days we played a lot cleaner, so I'm chalking some of that up to nerves. But definitely, we want to be one of the best serving and passing teams in the country. Nebraska always is. This team is no different, so we want to continue to fine-tune that, and that's a pretty big priority going into the first serve showcase.
Can you speak to your top 10 players who could probably play anywhere and the depth that you have and how important that is?
Yeah, the depth is pretty amazing. Our practices are really tough. That's just going to make us stronger in the end. That's why I'm very excited to play against somebody else, even if it's alum this weekend, to really see how our 8 players can perform together, 7 or 8, without playing against each other, because it's very hard to tell how good we are, how good one individual is, because the line is so thin between maybe our top outside and our 4th outside. It's like razor thin. So against somebody else, we'll get to use that depth, get creative with our lineups, and I think that's just so important when you're talking about the longevity of a season and being our best in December. Wear and tear, team morale, all that's really important to have a deep team.
Taylor's kind of had an up and down career to this point. What do you see that's still possible for Taylor last year?
So Taylor's, one of our most physical players. She hits a heavy ball when she gets on it. I think she's brings a lot of experience. She has that trust factor from her teammates and coaches that she's been playing for 5 years, and she's seen a lot and done a lot. So there's a comfort level there. I think her leadership has taken a new level, and she's just really playing with a ton of joy and celebrating her teammates. So I'm excited for her for this season, whether she's a starter, not coming off the bench. I think she'll make a big impact either way.
She had a good amount of blocks in that
Yes.
scrimmage. What did you just like from that after watching this film?
Yeah, I think that's experience. Blocking is one of the hardest things to translate from the high school club game to the college game, and it usually takes players quite a while to get caught up with blocking. And so I'm not surprised that she had the most blocks and looks so comfortable there, because she is going on her 6th year. But she blocks us a lot in practice too, so it's pretty much the same thing I've seen for the last week.
Blocking, it wasn't an official block, but Bergen had that stuff where she was
Yeah.
in the back row and she just stood there. What does that tell you about her game awareness and her ability to make plays when she seems to be limited.
Oh yeah, Bergen's probably our highest IQ player, and she makes winning plays, whether that's digs, blocks, out of system sets. She makes like tough plays look easy, and that's a talent of hers, and just really impressive to see her continue to do that, and get better at it year after year. I remember playing against her when I was at Louisville last year and thinking, man, she digs everything. And she's an elite defender, and you can't really say that about too many setters. So her all-around game is just so good.
You coach her on plays like that, just put your hands
No,
up.
I mean, I think that's just a natural reaction. Oh, I'm at the net, I don't want to get hit. So, I mean, she got a little bit lucky on that one.
Time for a few more.
When you went back and watched the scrimmage, what stood out to you about the setters?
I think the setters have a lot of work to do. We're setting the middle great. I think our tempo needs to smoothen out a little bit, and we've got to get a little bit more consistent behind to our right sides and our slides. But you got to remember that red-white was a whole week earlier than it's ever been. So we've only been practicing for, we had 5 days of practice. So that'll come, and I'm not worried about that. The thing is, they are playing confident. We already talked about their well-rounded games. Campbell's improved a ton from a defensive standpoint. So a lot of those things that you can't really work on every day to get better at were great. It's the location and some of the tempo that we're going to continue to work on that'll just get better and better the more we play together and the more we settle into a lineup.
And your top servers in practice so far?
Well, we haven't. Well, that's a tough question because we don't stat every serve in practice. But I would say probably Laney and Virginia have been two of our top servers.
Are there any other potential additions to the alumni roster that have not been announced yet?
No, not that I'm aware of. So unless somebody's going to surprise me.
And Kelly's with you every day. Does she still play?
She doesn't really play much. I know she's been staying after practice a little bit to get reps, but she'll play a little bit here and there, but not to the level that she'll have to play on Saturday.
How have you seen her transition from doing setting to now coaching more of the liberos?
Kelly's been awesome, and yeah, she wasn't a libero. She didn't play that position, but she knows volleyball. She has a great way of communicating, so it's not surprising that she was able to just make that tradition, and it feels like she's been a libero coach her whole life. And it's more with the way she communicates and, giving these liberos some confidence and a voice and the attention they need every single practice.